Hey, what's up guys? I'm going to compare the Segway GT2 to the Apollo Pro. Both of these are fantastic scooters. We'll go over them side by side. I have my cheat sheet of specs. I'll take them out for a spin. I'll do some acceleration tests. I'll do some incline climbing tests. I'll do some braking tests. So just give you guys an overall feel, and I'll tell you guys what my opinion is at the end, which one is worth getting and why. Right off the bat, they're both very good in different categories. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it. Looking at them side by side, they are both beefy scooters, as you would expect from something that's super fast. The deck on the Segway GT2 looks a little bit wider compared to the Apollo Pro. However, this part, if you're placing your feet and you try to put it on this corner, this part is blocking it just a bit, whereas on the Apollo Pro, it is more open, so you have a little more space because of that. But generally speaking, they're both very, very, very comfortable. Large deck, and so very, very good. All right, let's look at the Apollo Pro. I'll put the specs on the screen to save some time. But essentially, both of these are dual motor scooters. Peak power is 3,000 watts each, so 6,000 watts of peak power. We have 12-inch pneumatic tires, self-healing. We have an LED bar pretty much all the way around and to the front stem, and it does match, which is really, really nice. Super, super visible scooter at night. This is where the folding mechanism would go. That's where the charge port is right there. Stem. If you get a quad lock case, your phone can be your screen. In fact, the Apollo Pro is kind of designed for that. You don't have to do that though. You could just use this, and this is your speedometer. You have the drum brakes, you have the bell, you have a different bell that you could customize. You have your signals and everything. Regen brake, which is amazing. The drum brakes are not that great, just as a heads up. We have the throttle, signal power. And yeah, folding mechanism is also very solid. Again, the stem goes all the way down there. Okay, so then looking at the GT2, this thing has 11-inch pneumatic tires, also self-healing. But this one, you can actually adjust the suspension in the back and the front. So there's a one up there. Granted, both of these scooters are very, very good, have very good suspension. This thing, however, has hydraulic disc brakes, which are way better. We do have some LEDs on the back right here. We have some lights. You can customize that. I talked about that in the individual review. Within the app, you can actually customize that stuff. And yeah, very heavy. This thing takes a dual charger. You can actually plug in 2 chargers. However, the Apollo Pro's single charger actually delivers more wattage than the dual charger on the Segway GT2. The cool thing about the GT2 is it has that transparent display, and this is the protection, but when you're riding, you take that off, it is transparent, as you guys could see. And it's just beautiful, essentially. We have the horn, we have the different modes and stuff. You can actually even drive this in one-wheel drive mode. Hydraulic disc brakes are super smooth. You could change the modes and everything like that. We have the twist throttle right here. And again, hydraulic disc brakes. And the folding mechanism on this one doesn't fully fold. I don't know if I could do it with one hand. Let me see if I could. Okay. So this is pretty much how it looks folded. So there's nothing this thing latches onto. Really, the whole point of something folding is either to fit into a car more easily. I mean, but this thing is so heavy. The Segway GT2 is incredibly heavy. Because of that, it offers a super stable ride, but it is incredibly heavy. Whereas with this one, if you actually fold it, let me put this back. I don't know if I could do this with one hand. Let me. Yeah, so this thing would go all the way down, take that up, and it would actually lock in right there. So folded, Apollo Pro is taking up less space. So it would be easier to put the Apollo Pro in a tighter spot versus the Segway GT2. Suspension test. Very smooth. All right. I think the Apollo Pro is smoother. We're gonna do some side-by-side tests. I have a timer so you guys could see pretty much how many seconds it takes to get up to the top of the hill in this case. So I start at the beginning of the hill and I'm gonna stop the timer when I get to the top of the hill. Now, both of these are very powerful scooters, and I try to make the comparison as close to each other as possible, but I am kickstarting both, so one scooter may have an advantage over the other. But the Segway GT2 is so ahead that even I literally could have started the Apollo Pro clip literally 7 seconds before, and they would have finished at the same time. So basically, GT2 got up to the top right around 30 seconds, a little over 30, where the Apollo Pro got there right around 37 seconds. So 7-second difference on a incline. On the flats, there's a smaller difference. Now, again, both of these scooters have plenty of power, but the Segway GT2 clearly has more power. And if I compare these to a budget scooter, like that incline test I did, where I started at 0 miles an hour at the beginning of the hill, most of the budgets wouldn't even make it up the hill, where both of these, made it up with flying colors. But again, and here's another hill where I kicked them off. Again, this one's actually even more of an incline. And the Segway GT2 was going so fast that I actually had to let go of the throttle just for a split second here and there, just because it was going too fast, and even with that it still won. So clear winner is the Segway GT2. Now both of these are in their fastest modes. The GT2 is in the boost mode and the Apollo Pro is in the Ludo mode. And here's one where I go far enough. I'm trying to reach the straight, but I basically go far enough that I reach top speed on both scooters. On the GT2 I got to 43 miles an hour. On the Apollo Pro I got to 44 miles an hour. I did have to put it in Ludo mode, and then after putting it in Ludo mode, going to the app, then I was able to increase the speed limit. Here's a brake test where I basically brakes were, this one was a little hard to tell. The Segway did stop a little bit sooner, but they were both very close to each other. But in terms of braking feel, the GT2 is better, just because the hydraulic discs are amazing. But I do have to hand it to the Apollo Pro as well, because it has the regen brake, and that thing, you could get away with using the regen braking like 80 to 90% of the time. So in fact, and that should wear less, which is already a good thing. Now over here on the grass, this is my little bit of an off-road test. I almost lost control with the GT2 right here. The Apollo Pro felt a little more stable on the grass, so I think if we were in an off-road, quote-unquote off-road environment, I think the Apollo Pro would probably do a little bit better. But it could also be that the Apollo Pro has newer tires, where I've had the Segway GT2 for over a year now, so that could be that too. But I felt a little more stable on the Apollo Pro on grass versus the GT2. Here's a curb test where I drop it off the curb. Both of them do pass with flying colors, where with some scooters I can't even drop it off the curb. But with both of these, they have fantastic suspension. So in a nutshell, both of these scooters are very, very good. A lot better than the budget scooters. Both of them plenty powerful. Both of them very, very fast. But to summarize, the GT2 is the performance king between these two. It's clearly more powerful. I could feel it when I'm on the scooter. And the braking is, if I had to stop in a pinch, I think the GT2 would perform better. The GT2 also feels more stable at higher speeds compared to the Apollo Pro. Now, the Apollo Pro doesn't feel too bad at higher speeds, but the GT2, I think because it's also heavier, it does feel a little more planted. I do feel more comfortable going that fast on the GT2, again, but I don't recommend going that fast, and I wear a ton of protection. Okay, the Apollo Pro shines with the fact that I think it looks nicer. Looks are subjective, but I think overall it looks nicer. Number two is at night, it's the clear winner. I mean, it just looks amazing at night. Very, very visible at night. And you're getting almost the performance of the GT2 with the Apollo Pro. Not quite. So it really comes down to performance, GT2, stability, GT2. off-roading stability, Apollo Pro, and riding it at night or aesthetically, Apollo Pro. But you really can't go wrong with either one. They're both very, very good scooters, and sometimes they do go on sale. With that, let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below, and as always, smash that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.